What's up, everyone? It's Bill here. I thought I'd show you what I keep in my tool bag. This video is aimed more towards apprentices because I hear apprentices asking, what's the most important thing I need to have? What am I going to need? So first, let's talk about the hip pouch. I have the Tough Built, which is actually really nice because it has there's these little belt clips. You can screw these onto a ladder, put it on your hip, of course, and it just snaps right on. So going over my hip pouch first, I got my hot stick, my little beeper here. I got a level, which is really important to keep on you. And this is my little tape hook, which I don't have any tape on here at the moment. We got our needle nose, very important. Pencil, you always want to have a pencil because you don't want to be putting Sharpie on everything. The diagonal cutters. We have our linemans, very important for twisting wires. Flathead. I keep the flathead separately because I don't need it that often, but I still do use it. This is the Klein 11-in-1, the ratcheting one. I actually really do like it. And it's impact rated, so you can take out the top of it and throw it in your impact. Let's see here. Strippers. Gotta have strippers. This is the Blackout from Klein. Then I use a little nail puller. I use it for staples a lot. I use it to pry things. Comes in handy quite often. I usually keep a Sharpie right here in this other side pouch. So those are the essentials, for the apprentices. What do I need? That right there is what you need. Now going a little further into my bag, I have my headlamp here, which I honestly use a little flashlight a lot more often. I rarely use this. I got my hammer, which I use for, staples mostly. Tin snips, which I don't use often, but they are really handy to have. My square tip, right here, and then just a Phillips. These Allens, which are really important for the bigger jobs, landing feeders, things like that, you will need these. Tape measure, gotta have a tape measure. I got my beater. It's basically a giant flathead that you can smoke with a hammer. This is my socket set for my impact. It has quite a few here, 5/16, quarter, 9/16, very important. You need one of these for sure. These can switch around, anywhere on the bit here, so you can put them on your drill. And I got the one with the handle, I've yet to use it, but I have it. This is an extra set of alignments that I have that I don't need. This is another socket set here with a handle. It doesn't, it has some sockets as well, but I'd much, advise this over that any day. This is a little crimper here. It has, strippers. And I only have this because my alignments don't have the crimper on them. 2 size channel locks, one bigger one, one small. A couple pair of needle nails. This is an older flathead. Moving this way a little bit. We have our jab saw, which I use often. I really use this more often than an oscillator. Oscillators are nice if you have a big area you need to cut, but for outlets and things like that, jab saw is the way to go. Makes a lot less of a mess. My pipe reamer. If you're doing pipe, you have to ream it out. my roto split, which I don't use that often, but I have it. I have my Whirlybird, which has a little flat head and a Phillips on it as well. This is for like cover plates. You know, it spins like that. My paddle bits, I use those a lot. My plumb bob, you'll need that if you're putting, you know, masts in or even doing lighting layouts in houses. I prefer my laser over a plumb bob any day. I have a nice Klein laser. And that's about it there. If you can see anything I missed, go ahead and put that in the comments. And if we come over here, and by the way, I have this Vito Pro Pack is what I use for my bag. I actually got it off of an HVAC guy. Speaking of which, looking at the side of this thing, I use this magnet. And I drop it. I use this magnet all the time for studs, screws, metal, anything. Just keep that right there on the side. I have some extra bits here. I have a, you know, extendable magnet, which I guess comes in handy sometimes. Another pencil, you know, Sharpie. I really like this bag. I have an extra knife, you know, right here. When it comes down to my parts and pieces, I always bring this on any job. The Milwaukee was just a little bit too big for me. I got my wire nuts up here in the top corner. I got a bunch of Romex connectors in here. Very important, I got allergy pills because cats kill me. This is some machine threaded screws, you know, outlets, things like that. This is one of the things from the tools. I got smaller Allens, tape, some my little screwdriver, you know, you always need to have one of these. Comes in handy. I got my staples, my connectors, you know, kind of random stuff. This is my little hole maker and my tap set here. But I got the metal bits, you know, in case you need to make holes in things. This little guy, I got a little stubby here that's also a Klein. My little ratchet comes in handy, and then, you know, just some little bits and tips. Speaking of which, if you come across one of these while you're shopping, it is a great tool made by DeWalt. This little piece here slips up and down, and it magnetizes to the screw, so it is not going to be falling off. Anyway, that's the tools I have. I kind of meant to just show the apprentices, you know, what's important, and then any other tool, you know. They're all good. You're going to need them all. So I would start investing one tool a paycheck, is what they say. I'll see you guys in the next one.